What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and there is one news story in particular that really stuck out to me today. I think it's because this story hit really close to home for me today because of some of the things that I'm dealing with right now, which I explained in my last video. But some of you all may be familiar with a guy by the name of Tim Pool. He has a very popular podcast called the Timcast. It's like one of the most popular news podcasts on YouTube. It comes on every weekday. Well, Tim Pool has been dealing with a lot of craziness lately because people have just gone mad in today's world, and they can simply not tolerate anyone with conflicting point of views. Like, they think that if you think differently than them, or if you have a different opinion than them, then that is an offense punishable by death. That's literally how these people think. And Tim Pool has been getting swatted a lot lately. What swatting means is basically you find out where a YouTuber lives, you call the police, they call 911 in that area, and you tell them some type of horrible, like, murder is going down inside their house, some type of crazy crime. And how a lot of these police departments respond, they come in guns drawn, kick in your door. They just got a call that you've murdered your whole family inside. So they're coming in expecting you to be armed and dangerous and what have you. Meanwhile, you're just an unexpected YouTuber sitting there playing video games, working on a video, whatnot. And it puts you in an extremely dangerous situation because out of nowhere, oftentimes your door gets kicked in. And let's just say you have a weapon. You might assume that these people running in your house are there to rob you or hurt you or kill your family. So maybe you try to fire a shot off back, or it just puts you in an extremely dangerous situation by getting killed by the cops. Basically, that's what swatting is. And Tim Pool has been swatted, I think, 8 or 9 times just within the last few months because people cannot tolerate that he is allowing certain politicians and just anybody you can think of to come on his show and air out their opinions and talk about certain things that I guess people don't want people talking about. Now today, it has reached a new level because today he was going to do a little show, a live show. Usually his show is it's a podcast that he does on his property with some of his friends or whatever guests he has, but it's not a live show with a live audience. Today, he was going to step outside of his comfort zone and he was going to have a live show. I believe they were going to play the guitar, talk about some things. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I knew or I know exactly what the show is going to be like. But they were supposed to have a show, but now he has had to cancel it due to some credible death threats against him. Let's go ahead and read his tweet. Bad news. Due to a credible death threat against me, our show at the Redneck Riviera has been canceled. I said F them because I said F them, but I was warned other people could get hurt and we can't risk other people's safety. The threat was compounded by intel suggesting an attempt was actually being made. So this isn't just like your normal everyday threat. I receive these normal everyday threats online all the time. When I talk about something on YouTube, and I don't even cover some of the more controversial things like Tim does. I could literally talk about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars, and then I'll go on Twitter and lo and behold, I have death threats because someone's mad that I'm talking about Will Smith. This is something that has literally happened to me recently. So this isn't just your run-of-the-mill online death threat. They said that they have intel suggesting that there is an attempt. Like someone is actively attempting to take Tim Pool's life. Someone is actively plotting out an assassination attempt on Tim Pool. And some people are giving him shit for this. Some people are pushing back on this because Tim Pool canceled the show, saying that he's scared and he doesn't need to allow himself to be silenced and that he should still go out there and do the show regardless. And I don't think that is safe. Because like he stated, you have to think about everyone else involved. Okay, maybe you don't want to take this death threat super seriously. Maybe you want to go on with the show because, you're brave enough to do that. You have to think about each and every soul that shows up to your show and what their life may mean to them. And you just have to take their lives into account here. Because I would assume if someone's crazy enough to come try to take this guy out live on stage in the middle of Nashville, then they probably wouldn't mind taking a few other people out with them. So I think Tim Pool dropping out of this show was the right thing to do because, like he stated, it's not about him. It's about everyone else. Nashville is extremely packed on a Saturday night. And I would believe that he probably would have a packed show here. And there's so many other people who could be put in harm's way if some crazy person shows up to hurt Tim Pool. In fact, Tim Pool actually addressed this a little bit on a live stream. I'm going to show you a snippet and then I'll be back with some more of my thoughts.
I'm getting a little worn out. I think we're good.
We got a big day ahead of us. That very well may have been the last song of the day.
I think so.
I think there is a capo around here.
All right, I think I'm going to wrap it up.
We got a capo. All right, ladies and
Take a look at Nashville, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for hanging out. They try to get us down. They try to stop the show, but we'll find a way. And I was saying earlier that we were going to play out in Nashville downtown, but some real creepy stuff happened. We'll keep some of the details under wraps for security reasons, but basically there was some information that led people to believe, the authorities, that people had been preparing for something, which is it's new to me. But there was also some direct threats made, and as much as I can say, screw them, I'll go and do it anyway, nobody else wants to. Everybody else is really worried. So other people can get hurt. I can't put people at risk, but we'll play. We'll jam. We'll hang out.
I know he's telling you guys he's going to end, but
there we go.
We got an encore call for Will the People.
I can't do it.
Well, you can do anything, Tim, and you know it.
We're
gentlemen,
done.
I love you.
Thanks for hanging out. A special live stream, and we'll see y'all next time.
I know people have their different opinions about Tim Pool. People are going to have their different opinions about everyone. People have different opinions about me. I'm not here to say that you have to like the guy. I'm not even here saying that I like the guy, but I definitely don't dislike him either. I have no issue with him, but I understand that other people have issues with him. But I think this issue is bigger than whatever issues you may have with Tim, because this is a perfect example of the climate that we're living in right now. It is getting increasingly hard and increasingly dangerous for people like Tim, for people like me, for people who put themselves out there and put their voices out there to be heard. It's getting dangerous for us because the mainstream media, a certain political party, a certain part of this country have indoctrinated people into believing that if someone thinks differently than you, then they are the enemy. These people think they are justified in their death threats of someone just because maybe you may vote differently, maybe you may support a different political candidate, maybe you went online and gave a movie take that they didn't like. That's how bad it has gotten in today's world. And these people are extremely intolerant of other people's beliefs, and these are very much monsters. Monsters that have been created by the mainstream media, who have been driven to a point of hatred where they absolutely hate and can't stand anyone who says anything, the slightest thing that they don't agree with. You could get on this platform right now, make a video saying something that isn't even controversial, but because someone may slightly disagree with it, they want you dead. They literally want you dead. And I am the reason I said earlier that I really connect with this story right now is because I've been getting a lot of threats lately myself. And recently I've gotten my channel mass reported, where people are just going freaking nuts over me basically covering a story about celebrities. Literally. Me talking about celebrity drama has led to the point where people are threatening my life and they're trying to get my YouTube channel taken down and everything. So I can only imagine what Tim is going through. And like I said, Tim's channel covers more controversial stuff than I do at times. But I mean, he's not the most out there guy with it. He seems to me like he tries to be somewhat fair and balanced. He seems like he's somewhat center. People automatically assume that he's right wing or something like that. If you've never heard him before, you may have been told that Tim Pool's this right wing dude, when in reality, I would say he's probably even more so left than he is right. It's just that the left has, or at least the far left has gone way out there, So this guy seems to be somewhat fair with his news. He does allow people on there with conflicting point of views. It doesn't matter if you're someone on the left or someone on the right, he will allow you on the show. And more recently, he had some politicians on there that a lot of people don't like. And I think that's where a lot of this escalated. But this is, like I said, it's a perfect example of the current climate. Like every day when we get on here and we make these videos on YouTube, it may seem easy to some, but you're putting yourself out there. It's not necessarily just the words you're putting out there. It's not necessarily the effort that you put forth in making the videos. It's putting yourself out there in front of whoever. You never know how many people are going to see your video when you make it, you know? And I really can connect with what he's going through here, because this is where our society has gone. Internet trolling is one thing. People saying negative stuff, you know, that's one thing. But it's way different now than what it used to be. There used to be their fair share of trolling everywhere. And like I said, I know how to deal with an internet troll. If you want to get on here and crack jokes about me, we could roast each other back and forth. I don't mind. You know, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about those internet trolls. I'm talking about the type of people who literally try to dox you, find out where you live, and harass you, and literally talk about killing you, send you pictures of your own family members. Like, that's how creepy and crazy some people are online. And I don't think people realize that as a YouTuber, especially, like, I've been on YouTube before this channel, and I made videos about collecting and, you know, just little niche videos, and you never really experience nothing too weird when you do that. But when you talk about controversial topics, and I've talked about my fair share of controversial topics, and you all know how I am. I don't bite my tongue. I say how I feel about things. And when you talk about these type of things, you bring about a whole new type of crazy. You know, you're going to get your fair share of people who love you and support you, but you're also going to get your fair share of crazy. And Tim seems to be getting his fair share of crazy right now. Like, when it gets to the point that you can't even have a podcast just talking about current events without people wanting to murder you, like, that's how far we have gone. That's how downhill we are going. Like I just stated, I can't even make freaking videos about Will Smith and Johnny Depp and stuff without people saying that they want to kill me and my family. And I laugh about it, and it's funny to a certain extent because I have a weird sense of humor, but people are that twisted and sick. And I think we live in a day and age where threats have to be taken as more credible. If this was 5 years ago and someone sent me a death threat online, it wouldn't resonate as much with me as it does now, because now you know people are literally just that crazy. Like, back 5 years ago, people were crazy enough to say this stuff. In 2022, people are crazy enough to carry this stuff out. Like, they will literally allow themselves to get so upset about an 8-minute YouTube video that they will try to find you and murder you. And that's what's happened to Tim Pool. Tim Pool cannot even have a live show without there being a credible assassination attempt against him. I want you to understand that the authorities have compounded intel suggesting that the attempt was being made, which means the authorities have intel that these people were going ahead with this, that this wasn't just, oh, hey, you know, I'm going to do this to you, you know, just say some weird shit to someone online. No, there's like an attempt, like, oh, they're getting their shit together to actually do this. Now, I'm hoping that Tim can find who these people are, although I don't think it's just one person. And honestly, I don't necessarily think it's just random people off the street. You'll be surprised about the type of people who are attracted to these type of videos. When you start calling out these high-profile people, sometimes they watch your videos, and sometimes it's them that want you silenced. We're seeing it right now. Did you see how much people are freaking out because Elon Musk says he wants to buy Twitter and turn it into more of a free speech platform? You see how those people are freaking out about that? They're freaking out about the fact that maybe, just maybe, people who don't share the same views as them will be allowed to talk on Twitter. And that's how they feel on YouTube. So I'm fingers crossed that everything is okay with Tim. I hope that he's really careful. I hope the people around him are really careful. I hope they are very aware of their surroundings at all times. Because we live in a day and age where people like Tim people, I don't know how to word this. People like Tim, people like me, people like some of these various YouTubers and people that you see speaking out against a lot of this crap that's going on in today's world, we're becoming public enemy number one. And I don't want to put myself on the same level as Tim because I'm not. He's way above. But people who are speaking out and calling out some of this stuff that's going on in today's world, we're becoming their worst nightmare. We're becoming their biggest enemy. We're becoming their biggest targets. They look at people who are able to build their own platforms and they hate it. You know, CNN recently just launched CNN Plus, which is a streaming platform for CNN. They planned a lot of original shows. It was going to cover news, you name it. CNN Plus has 10,000 active members daily. 10,000 active members daily. I'm getting hundreds of thousands of views on my channel every day. That's why I'm a problem. Now take what I'm doing, multiply it times 100. That's what Tim's doing. That's why they view it as a problem. We are blowing these mainstream news outlets out of the water. Think about it. CNN launched its own streaming service, a streaming service that cost them millions of dollars to create. And they have 10,000 users. 10,000 people watching their videos every day. Meanwhile, I am crushing those numbers. Tim is just obliterating those numbers. That's why we are the villain. That's why we are the enemy. That's why they constantly attack our channels. That's why people like Tim can't even go out in public anymore. But I want to know your thoughts about this. And I want you all to do your best to support people who are out here putting their necks on the line to say things that a lot of people are afraid to say. I understand that it takes courage. I understand that sometimes it takes a special certain someone to actually get up and say something. And I'm doing my best to do that. I know there are other people out there doing their best to do that. And when you see people doing that, understand that it takes sacrifice every day to have the courage to speak out. And when you see them speaking out, at least have the courage to support them. If you're afraid to say things, if you're afraid of the consequences, if you're afraid of what you may lose, if you speak out, at least have the courage to support the people who are standing up. And if it just means dropping a comment, a donation, a like, telling people about these people's channels, videos, you name it, do what you can to show these people that they're not alone. But with that being said, I want to hear your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and let's do our best to keep the freedom of speech alive.